Imagine this. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Nevada's Black Rock Desert, the air thick with dust, music, and firelight. The signature moment of Burning Man is unfolding. The massive wooden effigy, known simply as the Man, is set ablaze. It's the climactic scene that draws crowds every single year. But while most eyes are fixed on the towering flames, something deeply disturbing is discovered just steps away. A festival goer comes across a man lying in what officials later describe as a pool of blood. For a community known for art, freedom, and radical expression, this shocking sight feels almost unimaginable. This isn't a performance, it isn't an act, and it isn't a rumor. Authorities have confirmed that this was, in fact, a real tragedy, the first suspected homicide in the modern history of Burning Man. And what makes it even more unsettling is the timing. It happened right at the heart of the event, during the exact moment when the festival reaches its symbolic peak. In today's video, we're breaking down exactly what happened, who the victim was, what officials are saying so far, and why this case has left investigators racing against time to piece together the truth. Stay with us as we separate fact from speculation and walk you through every confirmed detail of this shocking story. Welcome back to the channel. Today's story blends the surreal beauty of Burning Man with the shock of a real-life tragedy. This past weekend, amid the iconic burning ceremony, a man was discovered dead in a gruesome scene that has stunned the global community. Stay tuned as we cover what happened, who the victim was, what officials have confirmed, and why the investigation is still unfolding. According to official reports, the tragedy unfolded on August 30th, 2025, at approximately 9:14 p.m. local time. This was the exact moment when the centerpiece of Burning Man, the wooden effigy known simply as the Man, was set on fire in front of tens of thousands of participants. Now, for those unfamiliar with the event, this all takes place in a temporary desert city called Black Rock City. Once a year, this city rises from the empty Nevada desert, becoming home to nearly 70,000 to 80,000 people. It's filled with art installations, music, and a strong sense of community. And when the festival ends, everything is taken down, leaving behind nothing but desert again. But on this particular night, the festive energy was interrupted by something that shocked even longtime attendees. In the middle of the celebration, one festival goer came across a man lying on the ground in what authorities later described as a pool of blood. This discovery instantly shifted the atmosphere from celebration to concern. Local law enforcement was immediately alerted, and the case was classified as a suspected homicide. What made it even more unsettling was the timing. During the festival's most iconic moment, at the very heart of its symbolic ritual, this grim scene came to light. Officials have since confirmed that this was not an accident, and the investigation quickly escalated as the entire temporary city became part of a potential crime scene. Not long after the incident, investigators were able to put a name to the tragedy. Authorities officially identified the victim as 37-year-old Vadim Kruglov. He was a Russian national who had been living in Tacoma, Washington at the time of his death. Confirmation of his identity didn't come through guesswork or speculation. It came through science. The Washoe County Medical Examiner's Office conducted a formal examination and verified who he was using fingerprint analysis, one of the most reliable forensic methods available. This step is critical in any homicide investigation. Before detectives can begin asking why or how, they must first answer the question of who. With Kruglov's identity confirmed, authorities were then able to begin the next phase, tracing his background, his connections at Burning Man, and any circumstances that may have led up to that night. Friends and members of the Burning Man community have since remembered him as someone who poured his creativity and energy into the event. But for investigators, his confirmed identity also marks the starting point of a much larger search for answers about what happened in the desert that evening. With the victim identified, the focus quickly shifted to finding out what happened and who was responsible. The Pershing County Sheriff's Office, working side by side with the Bureau of Land Management, officially classified the case as a homicide investigation. This is the strongest signal that authorities believe Vadim Kruglov's death was not an accident, but the result of foul play. investigators have taken the unusual step of directly reaching out to the Burning Man community for help. Because this is such a massive event, with thousands of people documenting their experience through photos and videos, officials believe crucial evidence might already exist on someone's phone or camera. They've specifically asked attendees to check for any recordings or images from art cars, camp interactions, or near the Mine Warrior installation, as those areas could hold important clues. Burning Man's own organizers have also stepped in to assist. They've announced that they're fully cooperating with law enforcement and have gone a step further, pledging a coordinated donation to the Secret Witness program. That program offers rewards for information that could help investigators solve serious crimes. The goal here is simple: encourage people who may have seen or captured something unusual to come forward and help bring clarity to this shocking case. In a temporary city of nearly 80,000 people, it's easy for vital details to get lost in the shuffle. That's why officials are stressing community cooperation as the key to moving this investigation forward. The 2025 Burning Man Festival officially ran from August 24th to September 1st, transforming Nevada's Black Rock Desert into a sprawling temporary city with anywhere between 70,000 to 80,000 participants. For 1 week every year, Black Rock City becomes a global hub for art, music, creativity, and radical self-expression. But this year's event was anything but ordinary. Attendees faced a series of unexpected incidents. Powerful dust storms swept across the desert, making visibility almost impossible at times. One of the festival's most talked about spaces, the Orgy Dome, known as a long-standing part of Burning Man's culture, actually collapsed during the event. There were also intermittent gate shutdowns, which caused frustration for those trying to enter or leave. And in a completely different twist, there was even a surprise childbirth inside the festival grounds, something rarely ever reported at Burning Man. For a community used to extremes, most of these stories would have been remembered as quirky or chaotic moments in Burning Man history. But what overshadows everything this year is the grim reality that, for the first time since the festival's modern era began in 1990, organizers and participants are dealing with a suspected homicide. This is a major turning point for Burning Man. Over decades, it has built a reputation for freedom, expression, and even occasional accidents. But never before has it been forced to confront a confirmed homicide investigation within its desert city. That contrast, between a culture of creativity and the shock of real-world violence, is exactly what has left the community, and the wider world, stunned. Beyond the headlines and the investigation, there's also a human story. Friends and fellow participants have described Vadim Kruglov as much more than just a name in a police report. He was known as a builder, an artist, and someone who was always ready to lend a hand around camps at Burning Man. For a community that thrives on collaboration and creativity, those qualities made him stand out. One close friend even wrote, "His energy and contribution will forever remain part of the Burn's history." Statements like this highlight just how deeply connected Kruglov was to the spirit of the festival, and how much his absence will be felt by those who knew him personally. But even as the community pays tribute, the reality on the ground is difficult. As Burning Man comes to an end each year, Black Rock City is dismantled, camps are taken down, art installations are removed, and tens of thousands of people begin their journey home. For investigators, that creates a real challenge. Evidence that might help solve the case could disappear quickly in the chaos of this massive exodus. Authorities are now racing against time, working to collect testimony, digital recordings, and any physical clues before the desert city vanishes for another year. It's a reminder that Burning Man isn't just a festival, it's a temporary world. And when that world disappears, so too can the answers that might explain what really happened to Vadim Kruglov. This tragic event has cast a shadow over what's usually a celebration of art and radical expression. We'll continue updating as the investigation unfolds. If anyone attended Burning Man this year and saw or filmed anything unusual on the night of August 30th, please encourage them to contact the authorities. But refrain from speculation here. We'll wait for official updates. If you found this video insightful, hit like and subscribe for more true crime and festival stories. Share your thoughts below. What do you think led to this shocking event?